get cutouts from everybody from the.
I'd like to call the meeting to order for May 21st, 2018, our regular meeting. Mr. Calavita, may I have a roll call vote, please? Roll call, please.
Mr. DiDonato?
Present.
Ms. Long?
Here.
Ms. Murray?
Here.
Ms. Pollara? Here. Mr. Sawicki?
Here.
He said here. Ms. Tracy?
Here.
And Ms. Wolf?
Here.
We do have a quorum.
The New Jersey Open Public Meetings Law was enacted to ensure the right of the public to have advance notice of and to attend the meetings of public bodies at which any business affecting their interests is discussed or acted upon. In accordance with the provisions of the Act, the Hopewell Valley Regional Board of Education has caused notice of this meeting to be published by having the date, time, and place thereof communicated to the Hopewell Valley News, the Times, and the Trentonian on January 9th, 2018. This meeting notice was also sent to Comcast Cable and Verizon Fios. The board reserves the right to enter into executive session during all meetings of the Board of Education. The meeting is being videotaped for the purpose of board review, future reference, preparation of the minutes, and viewing on Comcast Channel 19, Verizon Fios Channel 32, and the school district website www.hvrsd.org. May we please rise for a flag salute. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay. I'd like a motion to approve the minutes of the special meeting of May 21st, 2018, regular meeting, May 21st, 2018, May 21st, 2018. Going. May I have a motion, please? Second?
Motion.
Thank you, Adam. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, abstained?
Aye.
Motion carries. I would like to welcome our community, our special guests, their family, friends, and fans to this evening's meeting. We are thrilled to celebrate the years of service and accomplishments of our retirees and our board members tonight. But first, I would like to kick off our meeting with one of the many impressive recognitions we'll celebrate this evening. Our very own Dr. Smith has been recognized by the Mercer County Association of School Administrators as the 2018 Mercer County Superintendent of the Year. Dr. Smith has served as our superintendent since 2009, making him one of the longest tenured district leaders in the county. Dr. Smith has served as the Mercer County Association of School Administrators president for over 4 years and previously served on the legislative committee for the New Jersey Association of School Administrators. Dr. Smith has been described by his peers as passionate, widely respected, highly regarded, student-centered leader throughout the county and state, and a mentor to new superintendents. We could not agree more that Dr. Smith is an outstanding selection for Mercer County Superintendent of the Year. In fact, we're wondering what took them so long. Congratulations, Dr. Smith. We are so fortunate to have you as our Chief Administrator.
Thank you. Thank you. I'm happy to be here, and thanks for all your support. Couldn't have done it without the board. They really is appreciate it.
Okay. The Hopewell Valley Regional School District has partnered with Friends of Hopewell Valley Open Space, otherwise known as FOVOS, to recognize an Echo Warrior at each of our schools. We are fortunate to have the director of FOVOS, Lisa Wolf, our board vice president, here to perform the presentation. The floor is yours.
I will say, I'll kick it off, and then we're going to ask the students to come up, and we have we could certainly do it from over there, but we can, I'd like to recognize them with a certificate, a t-shirt, and most importantly, a tree planted in their honor by FOVOS. So what is the Echo Warrior program? This is a new program. No, we can go. The Eco Warrior program is a new program that we developed as part of our green initiatives throughout the district. Each of our schools has a green team that works to really reduce our carbon footprint and improve our eco-friendliness. These students are our inaugural members of our Eco Warrior program, and they, from speaking to each of the green team members, they were hands down the students that represented or embodied what we believe as a school district and are trying to do more than anyone else. So thank you for your hard work. We appreciate everything you've done for telling the adults to stay in line. Where's Megan? Megan apparently has ruined her family vacation, refusing to let anybody have straws in their house while they're but thank you for that, Megan. We appreciate everybody's work to get us to this point. So we're going to move quickly over to the podium. I'm going to call each of your names, and we're going to give you a certificate. You can see it, open it up, and you'll get a t-shirt, and most importantly, you'll get a tree planted in your honor.
About the tree that will be planted in your honor. As Elise mentioned, I'm the executive director of Friends of Hopewell Valley Open Space, and we were very happy to sponsor this program. It was also underwritten by Bristol Myers Squibb, and they help support this program. The trees will all be planted in Hopewell Valley at a Friends of Hopewell Valley Open Space preserve. And I'm going to give you a little bit of trivia, since all of you are eco warriors and you like to know about our environment. Did you know that now we can't grow a tree in the forest? That's true. It's very difficult to grow a new tree in the forest because the deer go out there and they munch down all the understory, is what they call it, which is all the parts under the trees. And if we're going to plant trees for our eco warriors, we don't want to have those trees immediately eaten by the deer. So we will either plant them at the Fiddler Creek Preserve or the Mount Rose Preserve, where there are fences called deer exclosures that will make sure that the trees get above the deer chomping line before we move the fence. So you will get very special trees. I encourage you to open up the packet that Dr. Smith will be handing you, and it'll talk about the tree that you're getting. And I'll give you a quick demo here. These are your Eco Warrior t-shirts. Are these too cool? And now someone's going to not get a folded t-shirt, but they'll
All righty, drum roll, please. Our first Eco Warrior is from Bear Tavern School, Adam Russell.
Congratulations.
Oh, sure, you could open it there. What the heck? Very nice. Those of you who don't know, Mr. Turnbull has a group with bow ties on Thursday. Are you part of that group?
Bow ties everything.
All right, I like it. All righty. From the high school, Katie Genovese. From Hopewell Elementary, Megan D'Alessandro. From Stony Brook, Matthew Nyagan.
Congratulations.
We should get this down. I should hand to the left so they're.
Right.
That's all good.
Or we should both shake first.
That's. From Timberlake Middle School, Harriet Strunk.
Congratulations.
Hey,
Now we got it done.
got it down to the last one. Very good. All right, and last but not least, from the Tollgate School, our youngest Eco Warrior, Zelda Houghton. Once again, thank you, everyone. Students, thank you for being our inaugural group of our Eco Warriors. We really appreciate all you've done to make the world a better place and to make Hopewell Valley a special place. Big shout out also to Phobos for the shirts, their certificates, and planting the trees. We couldn't have done it without the help of their executive director, Lisa Wolf, and the members of our green team. We have a couple of members of our green team here. Helen Corbeline in the back. Hey, Allison. Thank you all. As I said, when we put this out and we had nominations, the students who were feted tonight overwhelmingly were chosen and nominated because of their commitment to the district environmental efforts and for making sure that their families are doing the right thing. So we're counting on you, Zelda. All right. Good night, everyone. Thank you. We have a number of really fascinating presentations if you'd like to stay for the entire meeting.
Okay, for those who are left, now we'll really start the party. So prior to our student board representative taking the floor for the last time, I'm excited to take this opportunity to celebrate our accomplished high school student representative to our board, Caroline Phillips. She has volunteered her time and efforts for her entire senior year, sharing the happenings at the schools, accomplishments, and perspectives of her peers, and a continued bright spot in our meetings. Caroline will be truly missed as she leaves us to attend the University of North Carolina at Wilmington this fall. She has been accepted into the STEM learning community curriculum to pursue a career in marine biology. Caroline is sure to make an incredible impact on our environment if her high school career is any indication of the gifts she offers. Caroline is a well-rounded student, as evidenced by her membership in the National and Spanish National Honor Societies, and balanced by her varsity athletics on the field hockey team. Besides her position here as our student representative, she also is a representative on the Youth Environmental Society and Central High School Green Team, in addition to her advocacy efforts on the Youth Advisory Board, Leadership Corps, and Teens Against Tobacco Use. And somewhere, she found the time to be a yearbook officer. I would like to personally present a gift of thanks to Caroline and best wishes for her years to come. I'm sure that Dr. Smith wants to share in her congratulations as well.
Absolutely. We have a little gift that you can take away to college with you and remember us finally giving up those Monday nights well into the evening. We appreciate it.
Don't go away mad.
She's seen it done. She knows how it works.
I like it. She's
Go
going
reverse.
against the
Thank you for
grain.
your
I like
service.
it. Thank you so much. Thank you.
She's going counterclockwise.
There you go. There you go.
Don't forget to shake Adam's hand.
She's the first person who ever went counterclockwise.
Yeah.
Uh-huh. As I said, against the grain. I like it. There's fireworks when you're finished.
Well, thank you. Didn't really ever picture myself as someone to willingly come to board meetings. I made it happen. This was really interesting, unique, and I had a lot of fun, and I was happy to serve everyone this year, so thank you again. Okay, so on to the high school. We've been very busy with testing especially. So AP testing began the week of May 7th and continued up until the afternoon of last Friday, May 18th. Park testing also began last Friday and following for the underclassmen at the high school, and that will continue up until Wednesday of this week. Seniors get to arrive to school post-exam, which is very fun. Girls and boys lacrosse, both of the teams made it to the quarterfinals in the Mercer County tournament. The boys unfortunately fell to PDS, and then girls fell to Lawrenceville Prep. But for the girls team, their lacrosse goalie, Katie Kemether, has gotten 300 career saves as their goalie. For lacrosse senior night, boys took place May 2nd against Robbinsville, and girls took place April 24th against the Hun School. Baseball MCTs, their semifinal game is now postponed to this Saturday due to the rain, and that will take place at Veterans Park. The state tournament for all sports began last week and will continue into this week. The boys lacrosse will play in their state semifinal game tomorrow night versus Somerville, and the boys played today at 4 versus Ocean, and they won, which was great. On May 4th, the beginning of this month, was the junior prom at West Trenton Ballroom, and then senior prom is quickly approaching, and that will be next Friday, June 1st, at Penryn Estate in Bensalem. Also last Friday was the freshman-sophomore spring dance, and that took place at the high school. I heard a lot of great feedback from that, and great turnout as well. The CHS graduation for this year is June 20th at Atkinson Turf. And then at the end of April, there was the World Language National Honor Society induction for the Latin, German, Spanish, and French classes. Student council officer and class officer elections are underway, and voting will begin in the next week or two. And then lastly, the student movement against cancer had a concert on May 4th, and that was also a great turnout and a lot of positive community feedback from that. And it was successful in raising money that will go towards their community service projects as a club, and will hopefully be put on again next year.
Thank you, Caroline. Does anyone have any questions for Caroline? Wow, that was easy.
Yes.
The fireworks are late. Sorry. Thank you so much,
Final
Caroline.
report, Caroline.
Yeah, I might visit next month for the final meetings. I heard it got moved.
All right.
So.
It's been a pleasure having you.
He twisted her arm.
Yeah.
Guilt. It was really guilt.
Good luck in all your future endeavors, and maybe come back and visit, keep us posted how things are going.
I will say I was impressed the many times that you actually stuck around till the end of the meetings. Our previous student reps would kind of do their thing and kind of sneak out once we got to business. So, and that would have been okay. And you stuck it out many times, so I was impressed.
Okay. So I would like to turn our floor back to our current Board Vice President and past President Lisa Wolf, who has also served as the Mercer County School Board's president since December 2016. Ms. Wolf, along with her Mercer County School Boards Association Vice President, our special guest, Joanne Groger, who's a 7-year member of the Lawrence Township School Board, will recognize the accomplishments of several of our school board members.
So Elise did the intro. This is Joanne Groger. She is our Vice President for the Mercer County School Board Association, and I am the President of the Mercer County School Board Association. And I am very pleased to be recognizing Pete DiDonato. So I'd like you to come up here, please. So before I hand you your certificate, I'll talk about you while you're standing right next to me. So Pete is in his 2nd year, and I just wanted to mention, in order to get this certificate, which is a certified new board member certificate, you need to meet, like they have like a rubric because it's school, right? So you need to meet a lot of qualifications. It includes attending county board meetings, attending legislative sessions, regional sessions, the state convention session. So there's a lot of work that goes into it. And last year, I was able to recognize Elise and Jenny for getting their certified. And now we are recognizing Pete. So congratulations.
Thank you very much.
There you go.
And now it's my turn to recognize Lisa. Along with all of the things that you had to do to accomplish that level, this is the next step. Along with this, you have to be a member of a higher functioning, like a president, vice president, and I think you qualified for that quite nicely. And you also have to take an exam. And the exam, some of the questions were tricky, but most of them, you all would pass it with flying colors, especially this lady. So as I was reading my little notes here, I didn't want to miss anything. I just can't tell you what a pleasure it has been to serve with Lisa, and because of her commitment to education, to the school boards, to Mercer County, to the state of New Jersey, she is going to be missed so terribly because she's not going to step down as the president, which I don't know if you know, they've pushed me into your role without asking. It's like, wait a minute, I didn't even step forward. They got me. So thank you. But basically what I want to say, it's been an excellent adventure working with Lisa. Her contacts, that man right there has volunteered endlessly to make our programs wonderful. So thank you, Lisa. Every event that we've planned together has been filled with useful information for our members. On a side note, as I said, her absence is going to be felt very deeply at New Jersey School Board's convention. And at the past convention, I was an honorary Hopewell School Board member, so thank you for including me. And Lisa, I can't give you enough allocates and thanks to all of the wonderful accomplishments that you've had. And this is the plaque that's very difficult to obtain. And Lisa, congratulations, you have done it. This is also a certificate that was given to Lisa as being the president of Mercer County School Boards Association, which she has earned, as I've said, with all of my comments, above and beyond. So thank you, too. You're welcome. Not letting her go.
Wait, I want to share one thing. Don't kill me.
Okay.
So I bumped into Sarah Tracy over Pennington Day, and she congratulated me on getting my master board member. And the master board member comes after the certified board member, and after the master board member, which I didn't get, is the certified board leader. What I said to Sarah at the time when she congratulated me is sometimes some of these things you get just by being there long enough, because as you go to enough things, you check off a bunch of boxes. So longevity got me there. Joanne, on the other hand, has worked for each of these things. She got her certified board member one year, got her master board member last year, I presented it to her, and this year she got her certified board leader. So she actually goes through those things and works through it and gets it all done. So I wanted to recognize her too over here.
Something to turn this around. This is about you, my dear. Thank you for inviting me.
Congratulations, Joanne. Thank you. You're welcome anytime. The platform is now yours, Honorable Dr. Smith, for your report, followed by our very special recognition.
Alrighty. I'm going to cede my time to recognize our retirees. I'm going to turn it over to Mr. Suzo for the presentation, but I will say just my piece before I turn it over. The folks in this room really make Hopewell Valley what it is. Tony will give you the exact years that all the folks have worked here together. But I personally can't imagine walking into Hopewell Elementary School without seeing one of the, I was looking for like what are famous foursomes? I guess like the Beatles or something like that, without seeing one of the four famous Hopewell Elementary folks. I just don't know what it's going to be like without seeing Joanne in the main office, or Eleanor in the main office, or Elsie, in the hall, or Duchess. It's really going to be a change in the culture, and it's going to be we're losing a lot of history. In addition to everyone else, I mean, Etta, how many kids the lives of you have touched? I mean, it's a tremendous loss for the district. You've done your time, and we appreciate everything you've all done. But for us, it's really been a nice ride, and I appreciate all you've done for the district, because you're leaving us behind for greener pastures. And I think Joanne Thompson has a cruise booked tomorrow. Wednesday, sorry. But we're going to miss all of you, so thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Smith. Good evening, everyone. It is truly an honor and a privilege to present to the Board of Education for recognition our 2017-18 class of retirees. Each retiree has demonstrated excellence and incredible work ethic, dedication, and professionalism during their career in our district. They have done an incredible job supporting and servicing students, staff, parents, and our community. Each of our retirees will be receiving a certificate this evening of appreciation for their service that reads the following: for dedicating your life to the art and science of teaching for practicing your profession with compassion and dignity, and for holding the well-being of your students as your primary concern always. Congratulations on your retirement from the Hopewell Valley Regional School District. When I call your name, please come forward and be congratulated by each one of our board members, and you will also receive a certificate. We do have a few folks who could not be here this evening, however, we still would recognize them. First, from Pupil Services, Ed Bray. Go around, see if everybody's. Oh, start on that side. Oh, yeah.
That says it all.
Next, from Central High School, we have two individuals who could not be here this evening, but we'll still recognize them. First, French teacher Joan Bonnell, and custodian Trevor Ebanks. Next, one of our friendly faces in the main office at Central High School, Lynn Gray. Next, from Timberlane Middle School, Dave Hartig. And now Hopewell Elementary. So Tom mentioned it, truly legendary. 167 years of service between these four individuals. Some, I think, we're having a race to see who could last the longest for retirement. First, one of our faces in the main office, Eleanor Edling.
Yeah.
And the other friendly face in the main office, David, you're in trouble. I don't know what you're going to do next year. Joanne Thompson. Next, paraprofessional, Elsie Mutner. And our last individual from Hopewell unfortunately couldn't be here tonight, but Duchess Lake, paraprofessional. From our transportation department, the first individual could not be here this evening, Keith Byrne. And then our final individual this evening, 29 and a half years as a bus driver, which is truly amazing, Caroline Musso. The administration and the Board of Education, thank you for your service to the district. Go forward and enjoy the next phase of your life. While doing so, reflect back on the many lives you have positively impacted during your time in Hopewell Valley. Thank you.
You're all welcome to stay, but you're also free to go. You can start your party now. Thank you. Thank you so much, everyone, for coming. Oh no, we lost her too.
Good luck on your finals.
Peter, that might be the best outfit yet.
Yeah. No, it's 50.
I'm loving it.
Bye. Yeah.
Yeah. You're welcome to come up here. We have a few empty seats. Members of the public are invited to address the board on any matter for a maximum of 3 minutes during this portion of the meeting. You are asked to state your name, address, and municipality. In response to your comments, the Board of Education may respond or direct the superintendent to do so. The board may also opt to take the matter up at a future meeting so that the matter is researched by the district administration. Public comment is now open. Okay. Hi.
Hi. Please excuse my voice. I'm losing it. I know. My name is Teresa Vogler. I'm from Trenton Harborton Road, Hopewell Township. I would like to speak against the proposed policy.
I'm sorry, what's your last name? I'm so sorry.
Vogler.
Vogler. Thank you.
Yeah, I am short. Thank you. I would like to speak against the proposed policy of random drug testing. I do not understand what the problem is that this program is designed to solve. Is there a problem with kids coming to school under the influence and disrupting class? If so, Why wouldn't there just be a probable cause type of screening? Is this supposed to ferret out substance usage, which is not apparent? Why is this the role of the school? I believe this is an unnecessary expansion of the school's disciplinary powers. In addition, I have the following questions. How much will this cost? And is this a good use of taxpayer funds? And secondly, as I understand it, only students who are involved with the school, such as through athletics or after-school activities, are the only ones targeted for this intrusion. Wouldn't it be fair to include those who do not participate? Thank you. Those are my questions.
Thank you, Ms. Vogler. Would anyone else like to speak?
Hi. My name is Greg Vaughn. I'm a resident here in Hopewell Valley. I have 2 children in the school district. Really just wanted to express concern, like many in the country, that with the recent shootings that have occurred, I don't think that our community is immune from a similar incident as what happened recently in Santa Fe, Texas, and what we had in Parkland. What measures is the board, the state taking to ensure the safety of our kids? And do we feel that they're reasonably strong safeguards that would implement a degree of immunity from our children being subject to the tragedies that we've seen? That's my question.
Thank you, Mr. Vaughn.
Hi, everybody. Good evening. My name is Jeffrey Gross, and I live right here in the borough. After the shootings from just a few years ago, I kept asking myself, why haven't we done more? I think people think that because we live in this beautiful town, this great area, we have wonderful schools, this can't happen here. And I just, I think that's really two faults of a sense of security. It's sad that, we have to have this conversation, but it must be had. And I think not only had, but we must implement and do something about it, because we just can't go on thinking that that's going to be the answer. Now, I'm under no impression at all that having a security person and people in schools will prevent that person from coming in. There's a lot of things that go into a person who's that upset or that distraught or something going on in their life to do such. But I do know this. I'd rather have my sons, who are both one at the middle school and one at the high school, I'd rather have them have somebody there who can at least confront and actually do something. I can't see if I was a person there and I was the security person and I was not armed, boy, what am I going to do? I'm sitting in a situation that this person is shooting at people and I have no way of really responding. This is more about, listen, if we can save 1 or 2 children or whatever, that would be wonderful. I hope it never happens, but I think it's really necessary beyond just the steps of securing the school, because right now, if I walked into the school during lunchtime or someone just walked in there, got buzzed in for whatever reason, God forbid I was that first person that you have to sign in at, because I think that's the first person that might be gone. Then I walk into the cafeteria area. What is anyone going to do but scatter of what we taught? And that's it. That's not a good enough answer. I would never want any one of our children ever to lose a life. And then we said, why didn't we do something beyond, just having, better doors, better this, better that? I think it's imperative in this day and age, we need to have someone who can at least potentially reduce the damage. There's no way, if you get a distraught enough person who wants to do what they want to do, the guard isn't going to be the, all end. But listen, I would prefer the person be there so they can take the shot at the person and engage. Yes, oh yeah, we know at Parkland the guy ran away. Most of them don't. I can present other instances in Maryland where the gentleman engaged and was able to shoot the person and take him out. Recently in Texas as well, there had 2 police officers there. The answer is not a gun in the school, so to speak, but it is going to help. There's no doubt it will help. And that's what we need to think of, how potentially it might help.
Thank you, Mr. Gross.
You're welcome. Thanks, Elise.
Anyone else? Thank you so much. Dr. Smith?
Sure.
Oh, sorry. Motion to close public comment? Don't need a motion? Okay, we're closed.
Alrighty, so on the board agenda for this evening, the board is aware that you're asked to approve the second reading of the random drug policy. On Thursday evening, I presented a town hall that was also shown on Facebook Live. In response to Mrs. Vogler's questions, I led that with saying, this is not an easy recommendation to make. We're here after a lot of discussion. Why are we here? I would argue that we do have a problem. And this is something that not only that we feel, but also the students in their our culture and climate survey last year, over half of them stated that there's not drugs in our school, that there's a problem with drugs at our high school. So I gain no pleasure in making this recommendation, and certainly, some of the emotional emails that I received, don't make it easy to read. But we do this really because we care for students. So that's really the why, Mrs. Vogler, of why we're here. And one of the things we've talked to parents, and they've asked, not everybody has great relationships with their kids. Not everyone has the ability to talk to their children about it. And whether you like it or not, that we do become the de facto parents in a lot of cases. I'm not suggesting that we are getting into that world, but we're here because a lot of our conversations with parents saying anything you can do to help us is appreciated. So that's what really kind of turned us to have the conversation. As a parent of a high school age student whose high school does have it and who has been tested, I was thankful to get information regarding him. How much will it cost? Depending on how many confirmation tests we send out, we're talking somewhere between $4,000 and $5,000 a year annually. We have a board approved last month an $87 million budget. I consider this money well spent. Why not test all students? This is really state law. To do it, you have to be tied to a privilege. In Hopewell Valley Central High School, we probably have, and it fluctuates depending on the season, but our most recent count, we're upwards about 93, 94% of our students participate in some sort of privilege. The other question I get is, okay, so then what about the other 6 or 7% of students? Aren't they the ones that you really should be focusing on? Yes, and we have a number of mechanisms to do that, but also something you should be aware of the 24 students who were who tested positive for being under the influence last year, 23 of them participated in after-school activity. So what I've heard from students when we had focus groups were, it's not the students you think. It is students who are taking AP classes and other things. I'm worried. I'm worried as the leader of this school district about our students, about our families. And again, I get no pleasure from making this recommendation, but I am doing it because I think we've done a lot to support our students in a lot of programs. And I think this is the next logical step for a situation that we're having a difficult time wrapping our head around. So that's my response to that. In terms of the school security
Can I
concerns,
make a comment on drug testing before you go to the other comment? So on the random drug testing, I would say in addition to what Dr. Smith has said, I think that the primary reason that a lot of people are looking at, or board members are considering random drug testing, is because they're looking for a deterrent effect. It isn't that we're trying to catch anyone. It's really, if we look at what happened when we brought in the breathalyzers, we had kids prior to the breathalyzers coming to some of our dances under the influence. And once they were aware and knew that they were going to be tested, we actually haven't had any incidents of catching people who were under the influence of alcohol before the dances. So the idea behind it is not that we're trying to catch anyone, it's really that we're trying to have a deterrent effect. And with the kids knowing that they're going to be tested, hopefully they're going to say, well, there's a chance I can be tested. And what other districts who have done this have told us is that when you had random drug testing in place, kids said, when there was peer pressure, it made it easier on them because they could say, oh, you know what, I was thinking about doing it, but I know that there's a chance I'm going to be tested and I don't want to take a chance of getting in trouble later. So it actually gave them a nice excuse to say no. Not that they couldn't say no on their own, but it was just extra, ammunition and something that the students could have in their arsenal is another reason that they would be able to say no. So, sorry.
No, it's okay. That's a deterrent effect is absolutely I think the grounding reason why we're doing it. School security. I can tell you, and I think anybody involved in education would probably share my feelings that there is not a day that goes by that we don't worry and think about what we can do and what we are doing. I'm proud to say that I do think that we have a number of intangibles that we've put into place over the last few years through supports of the Board of Education to really connect kids to our schools, identify students who are having difficulty in school, and supporting them. That's the expansion of our mental health efforts. That is the programs that we have put into place for students with counseling, emotional supports that we put into place. We are monitoring electronic communication with students, all things that you wouldn't think that schools would be involved in, we are involved in. Now, I'm not saying we're in a nefarious way where they're monitoring electronic, but the students share with us. The students are concerned. I think if there's a good thing to come out of this is students are being much more vocal and raising concerns about other students, about bringing matters to the attention of administration. Like every school, there are, kids will bring to us items of concern that students either Snapchatted or students Instagram to somebody else and have brought it to an adult and said, I'm worried about this. Can you help? And we can get involved. The police are getting involved. And I also have to say that we have a tremendous relationship with the Hopewell Township Police and the Pennington Police, and we're thankful for that. The more tangible things that we're looking at is we're looking to improve our staff training. That's all staff, from bus drivers to administrators. That'll be taking place over the summer. This is moving away from the traditional kind of hide in the corner training to a much more dynamic training and providing staff opportunities to make decisions and to be actively involved in some of these situations. I think we're all learning with each event of what's working and what's not, and I think we're moving forward with this in our evolution in terms of that. The other thing about securing our buildings, Mr. Gross, your point is well taken. We've done a lot of good things and we'll continue to do good things. We've limited our access to the high school. We've had conversations about limiting that even further, building vestibules, locking vestibules in some of our buildings to decrease that. Something that predates me that this district had before I arrived was campus safety officers. And I'm pleased to say that our campus safety officers, by the end of this year, all 6 of them will be retired police officers. So they are trained, and as our chief of police said, there's certain training, there's life training that police officers have that a normal person who would walk the halls don't have. They know what to look for and what to see. So we're also looking at changing their role of being much more kind of trainers and being involved in the students. We don't want our campus safety officers to be answering the phone in the main office when a secretary isn't there, which is kind of par for the course now. We'd like them more actively involved in monitoring the schools, seeing what's going on, but more importantly, to be actively involved in our training, our staff training, and our lookouts in terms of what's happening. Something else you should be aware of is the state is moving forward with a program where we will have a trained safety specialist in every school district in New Jersey, or at least one. Our district, Tony and I are both going to go out for the training. That includes FEMA 100 level incident command training, with if you have an incident, how to respond to it. Our communication is going to improve. You see the clocks in the back. They can easily be transitioned into messages across those LCD screens. They will also improve our communication out to parents. So parents will be instantly alerted to situations, and that will provide us information. So there's a lot of conversations going on about what we can do and what we can improve upon. And I don't want to take up too much time regarding this, but know that we're actively involved in discussions how to improve it. We have requested a state audit for security. We're waiting for a date with that. I just sent another request to schedule that in. That's an objective third party to come in and really look at what we have and make recommendations about what we're doing. But I just would like to assure everyone that there is not a day goes by that we do not have a conversation regarding school security, how we can improve it, how we can improve our communication to parents, and what we're doing about it.
I would. I'd like to make one other comment about something that we've done to improve our security. And this was something that the board and the administration worked on for 5 years. One of the issues that we had is it used to be, and some people will remember this, every election we actually had voting booths in the schools. And we opened up the schools to everybody in the community to come into our schools for their voting. And the board and the administration made several requests to the state and said, the Department of Elections, can we please not have it in the schools anymore? And we'd gotten most of them out of the schools, but in Stony Brook, that was the last holdout where we asked to have it out of all of the schools, but it's not up to the district, it's up to the Department of Elections. And the rumor has it that this year is the year that, is it, we don't know for sure yet, or is it?
Well, I received what you received, so,
okay.
But we have no official letter saying that it's moved.
So rumor has it they're moving the voting out of Stony Brook and into Freedom Village. And if that happens, that would be the last of our schools. We used to have voting in the high school. We had voting at Hopewell Elementary. And it was, I mean, if you want to talk about creepy, you're actually inviting the entire community, of which you're not doing any ID checks or anything, into your schools. And it was hard. You had to write a lot of letters to.
A lot of letters.
And they said no many times, but slowly but surely they'd keep okay, now you can get rid of Hopewell. Now we can move the high school to the library. And Stony Brook was the last holdout, and it does look like, knock wood, that this year will be the first year we've gotten, all of the voters and election out of our schools. So I think that that's a great step that we can commend our administration for being so diligent on improving our security as well.
I'd also like to just commend Dr. Smith, because he, as president of the Mercer County Superintendents, has put a lot of pressure on the state to provide more criteria and recommendations on what to do. As we know that sometimes things move a little slowly, and I think that your pressure is, very important, and leadership in that regard. Okay. We will have another public comment after the next few things we have to do. Never had that happen before. items of old business. May I have a motion to approve the consent agenda?
So moved.
A voice vote, please. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, abstained? Aye. Thank you, Adam. Motion carries. Okay. Finance and Facilities, Mr. DiDonato.
So as I don't actually have anything to move tonight, as everything's on consent. We did meet today to discuss some of the things of how the referendum's going. So far, it's looking on plan, on time, on budget, actually under budget. We have some summer projects that we've agreed to do, some painting of 51 classrooms over at the high school. So that's going to be underway this summer. Outside of that, we had a couple small things, purchase of 3 buses because of a retirement age and old buses. We've got three new buses coming in. Minusculely, just disposition of some technology equipment and some approvals of the May billing list, but that's really it.
Thank you, Mr. DiDonato.
Thank you.
Next up, Ed Program, Ms. Jenny.
So everything we are also on consent. This morning we had the woman who runs the extracurricular after-school program, enrichment program for the 4 elementary schools come in and talk to us, and I'm going to butcher her name. So
Keithana.
And she explained to us what they offered, the financial, the cost of it to run, how much money they bring in, and one thing that we also talked about was making sure it was more secure for the kids in school after school, and how we can work on that as well. That was it for us this morning.
Thank you, Jenny. Next up is Personnel, Ms. Vallara.
We met this evening at 6:30, and we reviewed 2 job descriptions. The campus safety officer, so that job description is changing, as well as the elementary STEM facilitator. There'll be a STEM facilitator in each of the elementary schools, which is very exciting to do STEM programming throughout the entire elementary level, which is great. We continue to examine teacher attendance, comparing the 2016-17 school year to the current year. We had a discussion about salary increases for non-represented employees, and we were provided an update on negotiations with HEA, and their next section of negotiations will be May 3rd.
Motion.
Do I say
Yep.
that?
Yep.
May I have a motion to approve?
You're making the.
I am making a motion to approve this personnel agenda.
And extracurricular.
Thank you. Thank you. May I have a roll call vote, please?
Yes. Mr. DiDonato,
Yes.
Ms. Long, Ms. Pollara,
Yes.
Mr. Sawicki,
Yes.
Ms. Tracy,
Yes.
Ms. Wolf,
Yes.
and Ms. Murray.
Yes.
Motion carries. Thank you.
Okay, nothing for community relations?
Yes. So we had our community relations meeting. We agreed that we are going to try a little bit harder to make sure that our individual school calendars are up to date with our district calendar, because we have separate calendars at each of the different schools, but on the main website we also have a district calendar that breaks down by individual schools. And a couple times some of those things have been not in sync, and it's been confusing for some parents. So we're going to be making, from a community relations standpoint, we're going to be making extra efforts to make sure that our calendars are in sync and up to date for our parents who are looking at those things. The other thing we talked about in community relations was how we're handling snow days currently. Today, this year we did e-days, we did e-learning days during spring break. Dr. Smith did a survey afterwards, and it came out fairly positive, and we're the Community Relations Committee, it'll go to other committees as well, But the Community Relations Committee is recommending that the first 2 snow days be e-learning days rather than those days where you push out the end of the calendar. So I think that's up for further discussion within the board, but Community Relations seem to like the idea. And that's all.
Thank you, Ms. Wolf. Next, Mr. Sawicki, policy.
Yes. Okay, good evening. So first, can I have a motion to move the policies and regulations up for first reading?
So moved.
Second.
Excellent. Okay, so for first reading, we have 5 items. We have Policy 5200 and Regulation 5200, which cover attendance. We have Policy 2411 and Regulation 2411, which cover guidance and counseling. And then we have an update to Policy 9210, which relates to parent organization. So the first 4 that I mentioned are more or less general recommendations, updated policy. The one that I'll just draw to your attention is the Policy 9210. And what we're making a change to there is basically a statement that our school principals or a designated staff professional shall be involved with and approve activities in certain circumstances, and that includes where we have parents and our students being invited, those which take place on district property, and or those that are sponsored by an organization that uses the district name and its title. And basically, this is to just ensure that the board and our administration have an appropriate level of oversight for those types of activities, making sure that we're doing things that are in concurrence with our district's mission statement. So basically, we have these updates. It's first reading. Basically, Policy Committee is recommending these 5 updates be approved.
Thank you, Adam. May I have a roll call vote, please?
Oh, wait, I'm sorry. Voice vote.
Oh, sorry. Voice. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, abstained? Motion carries.
Great. Excellent. So what we have for second reading, we have Policy 5538 for random drug testing and Regulation 5538 for random testing of alcohol and other drug use. So there's as we said before, there's been a lot of discussion on this. The board has had many sessions reviewing this. We've done a lot going through both policy committee as well as the full board in terms of making sure it's consistent with our values and how we want this to go forward, so it's not considered punitive, it's more therapeutic. I will say this, I will compliment Dr. Smith and his administrators. They've done the 2 sessions. I also want to give a special thank you to our SAC counselors. For those of you who may have attended last Thursday night's event or watched it on Facebook Live, I thought they did an excellent job and showed the professionalism that I think we all were very happy to see. So at this point, our policy committee is recommending passage of this policy and regulation.
So we need a motion and second.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? Roll call vote, please. Is anybody else?
Okay. Ms. Long. Ms. Polaro. Mr. Sawicki.
Yes.
Ms. Tracy.
Yes.
Ms. Wolf.
Yes.
Mr. DiDonato.
Yes.
And Ms. Murray.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Okay, next up, board calendars. Does anybody have anything to add, remove from May's calendar? HB on the 31st. Okay. Okay. June's calendar. Can everybody bring that up? Does anybody need a hard copy? Looks like there's something on every policy.
All the committees are represented.
Yep. Does the 13th work for community relations? Okay. Great. So, a motion to approve the calendars, please? And a second?
Second.
Okay, may I have a voice vote, please? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, abstained? Motion carries. Okay, school board candidate information. The deadline for filing of the nomination petitions to run for positions on our school board is 4 o'clock on Monday, July 30th. The following terms will be open on the Hopewell Valley Regional Board of Education at November 6, 2018. Annual school board election, it will be Hopewell Township for 2 3-year terms and Pennington Borough for 1 3-year term. The petitions, we have them here to pick up at the business office, and you can also get them through the office of the Mercer County Clerk. You can also go to the NJSBA candidates kit on the NJSBA website.
There's actually a link to that on Board Doc. You can link right to that.
Yeah. Okay.
Just one important note there for members of the public who are interested in running. The petitions can be picked up in my office, but they cannot be returned there. They have to be returned to the Mercer County Clerk's office. That's a change that happened 2 or 3 years ago, but you have to remember that it must go to the Mercer County Clerk's office.
Okay. And the second public comment. Members of the public are invited to address the board on any matter for a maximum of 3 minutes during this portion of the meeting. You are asked to state your name, address, and municipality. In response to your comments, the Board of Education may respond or direct the superintendent to do so. The board may also opt to take the matter up at a future meeting so that the matter is researched by the district administration. Public comment is now open.
Hi, this is Greg Vaughn again from Hopewell Valley, and thanks for the opportunity to speak one more time. Dr. Smith, thank you very much for your comments and giving us some perspective of the things that the board has done, the tangibles and the intangibles. And thanks, Mr. Gross, for coming up to express his views as well. I concur with the safety officer aspects. To touch on something that you said, Ms. Wolf, with respect to the drug testing and deterrence, another component I think should be concerned is metal detectors at single point of entry. Someone with bad intent, knowing that that is in existence, is another manner in which we could protect our staff and our students. So I strongly encourage pursuing something of that nature. And my final question is just that, and comment. Well, I think everything helps. We're kidding ourselves if what you described is where we draw the line. We're going to have a problem if someone like Parkland, someone like Santa Fe, Texas, and in that case, very little information showed there was a problem with that child. We're not protecting our kids and we're not protecting our staff. So please consider metal detectors. Please consider the measures that you talked about. We talked about with safety officers. And again, with all due respect, everything helps. So I think any action taken forth is a good thing. But we do need to be realistic about the real dangers that we face today. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Vaughn.
One thing I would add to it, I grew up in New York City and Queens. Jeffrey Gross, Pennington Borough, sorry. Sorry, Lisa. I grew up in the city for quite a long time until I was about 12. Now we had lots of gang problems, lots of issues. Once they brought in the metal detectors, once they brought in the police presence, my brother also went to school at Flushing High School in New York City. And when they brought those in, the calm level, it changed the atmosphere. Now it never was 100%. It wasn't, but I used to watch fights on a daily basis when I was in school. That went down to quite a minimum. I went to school when there was one bathroom to an entire school, and there was thousands, literally, it was a very large school. So after they were able to do that, we actually could learn. So I don't think we have that situation here. That's night and day, so to speak, for what it is. But we really need to do this. We just need to make things more safe. We need to take advantage of these police officers that we have there. We need to arm them. It's not going to stop these people who want to do this. I get it. But I think if we, just like the drug testing situation, if we can help one child, we catch them, and we can save one's life before they do suicide or anything like that. I think, Tom, that's what you were trying to get across. And if we could do that, this is not a nefarious type of thing we're trying to do. The same thing with this. I think we need to move to the step so that we give not only peace of mind to the parents, and I don't think the kids are really going to even notice at all the person doing what they normally do on an everyday basis. So some of the fears I think sometimes that people have, it's becoming a police state, it's becoming, we're turning into a prison. It's not the case. The kids are well aware of what's going on. Now, to say to them, we're trying to bring this in so that we can make it more secure, that's what we're trying to do. I think they'll get that. I think they get it more than we do. But I think it's important that we push to have these different things in place so that we can give peace of mind. Not the thought process, oh, I'm making my kid more anxious. No, I think by not having anything, not doing anything, actually makes everyone more anxious. So I hope that we really seriously consider and do, because it's not, who wants to walk down the hallway like the parents are now, not having their child there? We're not saying this is going to prevent it, but maybe 10 would have turned into 12, 13, 14, and 15 in Santa Fe. They had 2 police officers there, 1 engaged, okay? That's where we're at. We need someone to be there to engage. And without having them engaged, every one of us, if our child's there, then what are we going to say? Oh, gee, we should have done it? Oh, maybe they were right. We don't want that. I don't want that to happen here. No child should have that situation. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Gross. Any other public comment? Okay, public comment is now closed. So, Dr. Smith, if you'd like to respond to Mr. Vaughn and Mr. Gross's desire for metal detectors and armed officers.
At this point, we're really kind of waiting to work with the state to see where we land with both of those. I don't know. At this point, I'm not making the recommendation for armed officers in our schools. And I think with the metal detectors and talking to the police, I think there's still some questions that we have regarding that. We have decreased our points of entry at our schools. We're looking to decrease that more as we go forward. But at this point, we're talking about a lot of things. I will say that, the arming guards is I've received a lot of correspondence from folks on either side. I think that needs to be a greater community discussion about what that is and what that would look like before we would even consider it. But more importantly, I think it's helpful to get some input from the state, who gets to see all the districts, and look at our buildings, because we do have some unique buildings in terms of, we have Stony Brook that's 16, 17 years old now, and we have Tollgate that's 90 plus. So we have different things to consider.
Thank you, Dr. Smith, and thank you for sharing your thoughts. Please feel free to reach out, and we'll continue to keep you abreast of where we are. I'd like a motion, please, to exit the public meeting and enter into executive session.
So moved.
Second.
We will discuss harassment, intimidation, and bullying matters, and possibly any processing issues with the superintendent's evaluation.
They're not related, though.
Yet, right?
Yes, can I file one?
So, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, abstained? Motion carries. Thank you, Joanne.